let's just start there then. So, obviously, if Kenny Pickett starts pretty well. He looked really, really good in the first half. He played about the first half. That game obviously goes out. He's in concussion protocol. I think he'll end up being fine. I don't think the hit was too crazy. Now, granted, I'm not there. I've never taken a hit from a defensive lineman, so what do I know? But compared to a lot of other NFL hits, I think he'll be fine. But here's what's good. Mitch Trubisky came in, held down the fort, and I will say people want to, overhype it. Look, the biggest play of that 45-yard play down the middle was a blown coverage, which is fine. He was able to take advantage of it, and that's what Mitch Trubisky can do. He can hit the open guy, blown coverage, good scheme. If there's somebody open, he will 100% deliver the football to the open guy. I worry about him having a dynamic arm, moving outside the pocket, being able to push the ball downfield consistently, throwing people open. It's not, can Mitch Trubisky hit the open guy? Of course he can. The third-string quarterback on the worst NFL team can do that.
Yeah.
But it's the extra stuff that Kenny brings that Mitch doesn't. But it's not, rip on Mitch Trubisky time because he got us a win. Looked pretty decent. What'd you think of Brady absolutely reaming his teammates on the sideline?
I mean, that got a lot of attention from the game and the media in general during it happening. You could kind of feel it breaking down on that sideline a little bit, and I mean they just weren't ready for the Steelers' pass rush, is what I think, and especially missing T.J. Watt. I mean everybody stepped up. Alex Highsmith played great. He's now leading the NFL.
Leads the NFL. That's crazy to me. He's fantastic.
He played really well. That offensive line deteriorated, and then Brady screaming like that. I mean, there's a difference between motivating and just absolutely tearing apart your guys.
Right.
There's constructive, I guess, motivation.
Constructive yelling, I guess?
Yeah.
Well, so
that was not a situation of that. The big thing that stands out to me about the whole thing is Brady wasn't even with the team, leading up to that game.
Right, that's what people are upset because he went to a wedding on, Friday, and then missed the Saturday team morning, got there by Saturday, afternoon
he took his own private jet. He didn't fly with the team.
I get it. I get how that can be upsetting, and I think, honestly, if they win the game, nobody's even talking about it. It doesn't even matter. But they lost. So that's why it's a story. If they win the game, nobody even talks about
Brady
that.
has never been one of those guys that gives you a story to talk about. He would, early in his career, you would never see something like this from Tom. I don't know what's happening. He's being a little mysterious this season. It's different.
He's got some personal things going on. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. And whenever you've won 7 Super Bowls and you're in year, 22?
Yeah.
You got a little bit of leeway. You know what I mean?
Take a little off.
I mean, look, you're I don't know, an accountant for J.P. Morgan. And you're damn good at it, right? Like Tom is. You are the best one ever, actually. Yeah, I'm thinking in year 22 after I don't even know. I don't know what it counts to. After you've had the best books or whatever, I don't know. You're the business guy, but after you've had the best books for 22 years, and you've won Accountant of the Year at J.P. Morgan 7 times.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, I think
it's only week 6, so it's early. It's not like he's taking off, playoff games, and he's taking off the Friday before a playoff game, right? You don't see the account taking off right before, the end of the fiscal year. That doesn't happen, right? But you could take one off in August. You'd be all right. Take a week off in August.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what Tom. That's what Tom was doing. I don't have a huge problem with it, but I can see how some people would.
Well, one of the big things from this game that I think needs to be talked about is that the Steelers are by no means a good team that can compete down the stretch. No. Because there's going to be, I've already seen it, especially from Pittsburgh media, of just, don't count the Steelers out yet. I'm already counting them out.
Oh, they've been counted out.
They've been counted out since this first kickoff of the season. It hasn't looked good. They can't move anything on offense still.
Look, I mean, these things, this kind of stuff, I guess, happens, right? It's the NFL. Every now and then, a bad team's going to beat a good team. Yeah. It just is what it is. I still don't think the Steelers are a fantastic team. How about the 2 heavyweights, the Chiefs and the Bills? So the Bills end up squeaking it out. They win by 4, exactly like Tony Romo predicted. He goes, it's going to be a 24-20 type of game. Oh, is it, Tony? Is it? Thanks. He's always right, and I love him. But it's almost to a point where I get frustrated how right he is. I can't even pick winners of football games for my audience. I can't even get spreads right. And Tony Romo's out here predicting the score of the game in the middle of the game. Come on.
He'll call the next play before it even happens. You did that a few times when we were watching on Sunday, but not to the level of consistency of that guy.
No, but so the actual takeaways from the game, my takeaways are Both these teams are so good. I didn't leave this game thinking, oh, the Chiefs, man, they're in trouble. And I also didn't leave the game thinking, wow, the Bills are so head and shoulders better than the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. It's a coin flip type of game. It's always going to come down to kind of who has the ball last. What's the last possession look like? What does the last 6 minutes look like?
And my biggest takeaway is, wow, Josh Allen is special. The play where he breaks somebody's ankles and then continues and jumps over a defender and then still picks up an extra 5 or 6. He is, I would say, the most electric quarterback in the league. When he's fully on, I'll take him over Patrick Mahomes personally. I like Josh Allen that much. I mean, a 6'6" frame like that, 6'5", whatever he is,
moving like that,
you should not be able to do that.
No,
you shouldn't be able to do that at 200 and whatever, 35 pounds, whatever he is.
Yeah, and they get back in the huddle and throw a dart like the next play. You just don't see that. That's a rare breed. I will say that might be my biggest takeaway. Right? I said, they're very, very equal. It's a coin flip type of game. I did come away thinking, though, damn, Josh Allen might be the best quarterback in the game. Definitely, I don't think it's much of a debate that he's the most physically talented.
Now, there's trade rumors that Saquon could be on the move to
I don't think they're going to get rid of Saquon. Now, I think Christian McCaffrey, now that's interesting.
You add a run game to that Bills offense.
It's dangerous.
Very.
All right, how about the Cowboys and Eagles? So Cooper Rush throws, 3 picks? Eagles, of course, at home dominate. So here's the thing. The Eagles, probably 2 of their tougher games, right? Cowboys, and then Minnesota, they get in prime time at home, right? And that's a tough spot for anybody to come in and win. So I think the Eagles get a little bit of a break here, having some of their tougher games in prime time. But that kind of went exactly how I expected it. Yeah, the Eagles are going to run the football. They're going to be really, really good up front. The Cowboys are going to push back a little bit because they do have a good defense. But at the end of the day, the Eagles they're too talented of a football team.
Now, the Eagles did make some mistakes, and then that screamed to me. I'm not sure if they're a top tier playoff team out of the NFC. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're really good, and I think they have the potential to be. But from this game, especially against the Cowboys roster with a backup quarterback like that, you should be able to dominate a little bit more and hold on to a lead. They didn't play all that well throughout the second half.
They did not. The third quarter was bad. I don't think they scored a point in the third quarter.
I don't think so.
If I remember correctly. Either way, I know for a fact their second half was bad. They were up 20 to 3 at halftime, I think.
And you should not be letting Dallas climb back like that.
Yeah, that was tough. But at the end of the day, a win's a win in the NFL, so they'll take it. Okay, Broncos and Chargers real quick. From the Monday Night Football game, here's what was good. The Broncos found it a little bit in the first half. That was promising to see. Ross started, 10 for 10 with a touchdown or something like that. Here's the problem, though. After that first set of scripted plays, because you're going to script the first probably 2 to 3 drives.
Off a cliff.
He went 5 for 16 the rest of the game. You got to be able to make stuff happen. You got to be able to make adjustments. And to me, that speaks to coaching. Right? That speaks to the offensive coordinator up in the box, the head coach down the field seeing it. You're scheming at halftime. You got to be able to make an adjustment. You have to. The NFL is too smart for you to come in with a game plan and just run that the whole game.
So is this a situation where you give more power to Russ to say, hey, you're the veteran, you've been in these situations, you make the call, or do you kind of still rely on that?
Well, I wouldn't say he calls the game, but I would say that he has more audible power. And I'm not sure, maybe that's good or bad, but I think it's worth a shot.
If you increase that a little bit.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, what they did poorly was they stuck too heavily to their game plan as opposed to seeing what the defense is giving them and adjusting from there.
But then they have to execute those game plans. And I'm just not sure if Russ is at that point where he's going to continue to execute consistently.
I don't know, man. He made some nice plays outside the pocket. He was moving around. He was shifting. I think, though, he's not quite as shifty as he once was. So he can make the first couple people miss, but then he holds it a hair too long.
He is holding onto the ball a little bit longer.
I don't know. All right, let's